Cracker tomorrow, 12:30, talkSPORT exclusive, and I think Mr. Keown is going to be there. It's Leicester City against Arsenal, two of your previous clubs, of course. We all know you for Arsenal, but Leicester, of course, you had a spell there as well. Commentary to Clive Tilsley. Going to hear from Clive Tilsley later on this morning, because Clive was working in Glasgow the other night at Rangers Aberdeen, which was a highly charged, very emotional scene at Ibrox Stadium in the south side of Glasgow the other night after the passing of Walter Smith, of course. So Clive is on the way. Martin Keown is with us now. Simon, we're going to talk football. Take a back seat in this one. Leicester Arsenal, a talkSPORT exclusive. Is it fair to say, Martin, Leicester are somewhat re-emerging, and James Maddison's a part of that?
Yeah, definitely. They've won their last two games comprehensively against, well, not comprehensively, it was a battle against Brentford, but certainly the game against Manchester United. They're playing with three defenders at the moment. They have suffered with injuries. Maddison now is coming to the fore. Talked about sitting down with his manager and looking what he did last year, and wasn't really producing it. But he certainly is now his first goal since last February. And if you go back to last February and you're looking ahead to the Euros, he was in the mix with Foden and Grealish, and Mount to try and get into that little pocket, that position for England. He didn't play in the cup final at the end of that season, which would have hurt him. And I think it's been a case of sort of building his confidence up. But he's really in a rich vein of form right now. Arsenal have unbeaten in 8 matches.
Yeah.
So, middle of the table, both 9th and 10th on 14 points, will want to get into that top 4, which is a possibility. So that's a really big game to kick off the weekend.
I don't want to sound disrespectful to him, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has woken up, hasn't he? At last. I mean, you look at it, involved in 5 goals in his last 6 Premier League appearances, 4 goals, 1 assist. But he's got to. He's such a big part of Arsenal.
Well, one of Europe's biggest, best marksmen. Not sure what happened last year. I do feel that the club is coming together with the shape that they're playing. The two youngsters, Saka, Smith-Rowe, we talked already about the importance of having young players in your group. They're outstanding, playing in wide positions now. And Lacazette coming into that middle position was really significant. His timing of his pressing, the way that he tries to develop play in the middle of the pitch, and also the maturity he brings to the team, because we've got a lot of young players in there, a lot of players below the age of 23. I think it's really important to have senior players around, and Aubameyang and Lacazette are both come under that umbrella. So they're getting the right mix. There's partnerships forming all over the pitch. Lokonga, I thought, did a really good job breaking things up in midfield, and Ben White is now developing into a top defender, coming out with the ball brilliantly, I felt, in the last game against Villa. That was their best performance of the season. So these two go head to head. It's difficult to call. I think from a tactical point of view,
I reckon, sorry to interrupt you, if Vardy's on form, Euro club Arsenal might be under pressure. He scored more goals against Arsenal than any other Premier League club.
Yep, 11 from 13. So, he just fancies it. But you've got to make sure you're in those space. You've got to make sure that you can read things quickly. He's got tremendous pace. He still has that desire. And when he plays against the big teams, he turns up. And Arsenal are very much one of those right now. So there's a lot at stake in this game. And I wonder, when you look at Villa, I mean, they were blown away really by Arsenal in those first 45 minutes. They played a similar system. They played 3 at the back with 2 midfield players and 2 up top and 1 off the front in Buendia. So if they play that way, they're going to get exposed in wide positions. So I wonder if Brendan is actually thinking of changing it maybe to occupy those wide positions. Because if they don't have someone there, Arsenal are in danger of overrunning them. But, it's Leicester at home. The fans there will feel now that they're coming, just missed out on the top 4 the last 2 seasons.
Yes.
So why not this year?
I think it's a day for the playmakers as well, isn't it? Tielemans.
What a player. Tielemans has done magnificently
Saka
well.
for Euro Arsenal. I mean, there's a few in there who can make chances if the boys can put them away. But there's a lot of industry in both of those teams.
I think from Arsenal, Smith-Rowe is the one now that, the way that he was defending the other night, with the way that he was sort of filling in midfield, reminded me of Ray Parlour at his best, who did a lot of unseen work for Arsenal. You can't just be stuck out on the wings. If we compare Arsenal at the moment to Manchester United, they don't get any help, the wide players are not really offering anything into midfield, and everyone wants to point at Manchester United's midfield and say it's not good enough. If Fernandes is not going to work and Ronaldo is not going to work, it's tough. But Arsenal now have got that industry. They've got people who want to work back, and Saka and Smith-Rowe in the wide positions will do that for Arsenal. They do it really well. But Tielemans has really impressed me. His goal last weekend was something else. That clean strike through the ball. And really Leicester, the players that they've got out, if you look at Fofana not available, They've really bought wisely.
True.
I like Castagna in that wide position. Pereira now, they're perfect, ready-made for wing-back positions. So Leicester look good with this current system.
Right, okay. Here's the deal, Mr. Jordan, I'm coming your way in a second. But see, 1, 2, 3 Arsenal fans asking me at the moment. Another one's coming in. The pressure's off him at the moment because of what's going on recently. Mikel Arteta, I'm talking about. How long will it stay off him? He's got to keep winning. He's got to avoid defeat, and the pressure stays off him. Are you confident, Martin, that the pressure will continue to stay off him, or might it return if they dip again?
Well, it's about results. It's as simple as that. You lost the first 3 games of the season. Then it's actually they're unbeaten in 8, so it's picked up. And I like the look of there was quite a few changes. I think 9 changes in midweek. I think it was difficult to have to play Smith Rowe in that position. I don't know. Odegaard wasn't available. And the minutes he's managing people, Lacazette had to come on. I wasn't sure necessarily about that decision, but by and large, I think they're getting it right now, and it's evolving now towards what I consider to be the best 11. It's about performances and partnerships, and then understanding they're getting bodies in and around the middle of the pitch much better. They were a team that could really only press high or sit on the edge of their box, but now they're actually competing in the midfield. So they're getting a better balance, but they'll be tested to the limit against Leicester because Brendan Rodgers knows his stuff, he knows his tactics, and Arteta will be tested. So if they win this one, then the journey starts.
Right, it's a big statement. If they win this one, Martin, it's because of the time of the day and everything like that. If they win at Leicester, at that moment in the day, they'll go to 5th. Simon, that's where Arsenal should be.
Sure, well, in your mind's eye, yeah. But not the Arsenal that we're looking at now. It's about levels. The Arsenal that we're looking at now were put to the sword by Crystal Palace, and we're very lucky to get away with a result where they scored in the last minutes. They've come back from a break when Arteta was under pressure. They've had a run of games which have fallen quite nicely for them. They've had the Norwiches of the world. I know you've got to go and play ties like Burnley, who are difficult to play against, but technically you're going to be able to overcome those games if you've got a little bit of character about you. Now, we're going to see how they go against Leicester, a better side than Arsenal, in my view. And I think Arsenal will get beat on Saturday. Then they've got Newcastle, then they get Liverpool. Then you'll see levels. Because if Arsenal want to be in amongst there and amongst the top of the division, you're going to see levels. Yeah. Liverpool are in a different level completely to Arsenal. If you look at the Palace result, it's not because it's my old side. And if you look at the way they played against Brighton, and if you look at the way they played against Palace, for the first 20 minutes they were very good, and then Palace put them to the sword for about 50 minutes of that game. And the only reason that changed is because Vieira pulled the choke out or pushed the choke back in and decided we're going to take our centre forward off.
He pulled it out and put it back in.
Put it back in because he would suppress the engine rather than express it. So he pushed the choke back in.
Yeah.
And Edouard come off, and all the things that we've done, when I say we, Palace, to give Arsenal the headache that they had, which they were unable to cope with, which was put them 2-1 up.
Yeah.
We stopped doing and then for the last 10 minutes they pulverised Palace and got a goal in the 95th minute last kick of the game. So I look at the Arsenal side and say, well, you're entitled to be a decent side. You spent £150 million last summer.
Exactly.
Alongside what else you spent in previous summers. But where you are in comparison with who you're competing against, you're a country mile off. Now, I don't think they'll beat Leicester on Saturday. I think Leicester are a better side. And I think we'll see levels. But it's unarguable that they are better, Arsenal, than when they went into the international break when Arteta was under murderous pressure if they didn't beat Norwich.
Exactly. Martin Keown, look at me. Leicester or Arsenal? Who wins it?
Well, I think Arsenal are capable of winning this game without doubt, because there is a little problem for them. I mean, if Leicester set up as Villa did, and they're pretty well the same shape, they played that way midweek, and they had to rip that up at half-time, by the way. Dean Smith, tactically, they weren't in the match. Arsenal were 2-0 up at half-time, so I feel that Arsenal can very much win this game. But obviously, Arsenal are in the process of rebuilding their reputation.
Yeah.
We're all in different journeys here.
Sure.
Liverpool are now the finished article.
Right.
Arsenal were the finished article, but they're starting again. And I think actually the journey now is going well.
When were they the finished article?
When
10 years ago?
Well, when we went, of course, it has to go through cycles.
10 years is a long bloody cycle.
When
they were invincible, yeah.
We're talking about the tenure of this particular manager, and I think at the moment I'm seeing the best performances I've seen from an Arsenal team in some time.
Fair enough.
Although Palace gave us a footballing lesson and were much more competitive than us.
And Villa, to be fair, you've got to look at Villa. I mean, Villa came off the back of a very disappointing defeat to Wolves, and they were poor against Tottenham. So Villa are not in good nick. So I don't think you can take as much from that Villa game as you might choose to because of your Arsenal allegiance. But I think this game will tell you, if Arsenal are on the resurgence against a very decent Leicester side that are full of confidence again, with the sort of the mock David Bentley lookalike, James Maddison, strutting his stuff again.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. See when Martin smiles at you like that, Simon, you know
I
you're
know,
going to
I'm voyaging
get
into his
raked down
territory.
your
I'm not-
shins.
I'm
in
not
the
entitled
commercial
to
break.
Tactics suddenly here.
I'm not entitled to be in this area. I've been
Incidentally,
told.
do you want to give me an explanation as to why you sent me a picture of you in a white Palace strip the other night with red
It wasn't
boots?
white. It was a red and blue kit. I wanted to show you what an athlete looked. I know you look like athlete's foot looks like, but I wanted to show you what an athlete looks like.
Were they red Pumas?
Those kneecaps of yours, are they real?
Don't worry about me, mate.
It's 12 noon.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.